Hi guys, so today I was going to show you the installation of the Libre sensor. It's a fun piece of equipment for diabetics, which I am. But before I do that, I wanted to explain some other things where I started being a diabetic and all the equipment that I've had. I've been diabetic since I was 5, and I'm now almost 30, so it's a long time. I've been through numerous glucose monitors. The one I like most right now, obviously, is the Libre. It gives me the most freedom to be like everybody else, which is great. But you still have to have a glucometer to test because this machine has the rating to be about 20% wrong, so it's about 2 points off. So if you're 5.7, you're probably 7. So technology, it works. This takes a fatty tissue sample of your blood sugar, not like your actual glucometer, which goes directly from your blood. That's why it's more correct than this. But still, if you know where it's going, if you know that it's 2 points over whatever this says, you're still good. You just test it when you get this installed into you. Test right away to see whereabouts it's falling, and then you know. But, so I'll go over the machines and everything that I have. I just finished donating a bunch of my old ones. Most of them are Freestyle. Freestyle has always been very good at making diabetic supplies, so I always go with them. So the first one I'll show you is the Vario IQ. And this one was really good. Oh, this is actually One Touch Vario IQ. Yeah, so it's still this one. I always liked this one. It was always good. It gave you your average glucose A1C, which most of them do now, I believe. But I haven't used this one in quite a while. But the upside to this one is it charges. You don't have to replace a battery. It just charges, which is perfect because I don't want to buy batteries. There's this other one I got from Freestyle, which I have never used, and I don't remember why I bought it. I don't know. I'll have to look it up after this because, like, look, it's still got the bag full of needles in it. Like, I haven't used it at all. So I'm not too sure what this one is, but it's Freestyle Precision Neo. Freestyle's always pretty good with it. This one is nice. It's super thin, which can be handy if you carry it around free without the pouch. I always keep it in the pouch because there's so much other crap that you have to carry around with it. But that one's that. But the one that I use along with my Libre right now is this one. And this is the Contour Next One. And this one has an app that goes on your phone, and then it'll graph everything you do. And you can take pictures of your food so that you look back and you're like, I didn't get the right number. And you look back and you had like a lot of rice and you didn't do the right. At least you can see it. You put in how much medication you took. It also indicates whether you're going up or down, what's your trend. If you're going straight up, you know you got to get insulin in there. This one I disconnected from my phone because I had the Libre and I was like, I don't need it. But apparently you do. So I still go with this one. This one is battery operated. I haven't had to change it yet, and I had it for about 2 years now. So it's very reliable, good battery power. But it does sync to your phone, which helps. That's all for that one. Another tool that I am now using that I probably should have been using for a long time is a food scale. Now this one I got from a family friend. It's Cat Cora Starfit, and it's got the only real ones that I care about is carbohydrates and fiber, because you minus your fiber from your carbohydrates, and that's how much insulin you really want to give. But see, it does the weight here. It also does the temperature, which is quite friggin' hot in here. It's 29. But that's always helpful. You have to keep a book of your food codes. That's the only downside, because I don't want to memorize everything. But luckily, people are creatures of habit. You're going to eat the same thing over and over again. So eventually you'll know the code. The next one, there's the test strips for the poker machine, the Contour Next. And then for the insulins I'm on Humalog. I've been on this one for a very, very long time. I'm finding that it does not react the way it should be doing anymore. Like it says, when I first got on this, they said you give this insulin 15 minutes, it's in effect. No, this is 2 hours and then it starts working. And for stacking, because this is the stackable one, if you stack it, you're going to crash. So you have to wait that 2 hours because that's when it peaks. After the 2 hours, then you can administer another dose. So you just do your best. Do your best because it's hard. I know it. The next one is Lantus. And I've been on Lantus for probably almost as long as Humalog. I was on Toronto at the very beginning. But then they switched over to this. This one seems to be working. I'm on a new regimen now that I have a doctor that actually knows what he's doing. But if you get sick, you'll find that it doesn't work as well just because your blood sugar is always high. That might not be Lance's fault. It's not. It's just you. So, unfortunately, that's the way it is. I have 2 different pens. I've been on this gray one, this Click Start one. I've lost the lids for both of them. I don't know where they are. I think I threw them out. I don't know. But this is a pretty reliable pen. It's kind of broken. When you're setting it and there isn't a needle on it, it'll actually tilt out the side. So it kind of bends it a bit, but it has never broke and it's always given me the correct dose. And for this pen, the Humalog pen, I've been on several different ones. And majority was because they noticed I forget my Humalog a lot. And I did in the past a lot. But that was a thyroid and memory issue that I had. But that's treated now, so we're fine. But I had a pen before this that was electronic. And so it would lock after you administer, so you can't do it again. So that you know, I've already done it. Because that was my problem, is did I do it? I don't know. If I double do it, then I'm going to be in more trouble. But this pen's actually working pretty well. It's a Lily pen. Lost the lid too. But it does half units, which is helpful because not everything's one. If you're doing a carb counting scale of 15 or 12, and you have to make everything in that denomination, no. With the half unit, it's very helpful, I find. It's a little bit more freedom to act like an actual pancreas, so I would get this half pen. Alright, so back on to the Libre. I have been on the Libre for over a year. The first few just fell off. They say that they're geared for working out and everything else. They're not. I live a pretty active life. I help my husband with a firewood business, so a lot of running around, lifting, throwing, and they sometimes, as soon as you start getting sweaty or you're flexing your muscles, the glue lifts off. And so I had to fashion different ideas to keep them on, because these are a lot of money, especially if you don't have coverage. Like the Libre sensor, I usually get 2 at a time because these only last for 14 days, so whole month covered. Great. This originally for 2 is $167.99 in Canada. That's a lot of money for something to fall off 1 day later. That's bullshit. Luckily I have coverage most of the time. I don't now, but when I did, it was great. So it's expensive for these. The monitor that comes with them is handy. It fits in your pocket. It's perfectly handheld. It's great. It also charges, so another good thing about it. It's a waste of money. This sensor is $50 here in Canada, but you can download an app on your phone for free that does the same thing. So if you're a high school kid and you got the no cell phone rule, that's your ticket. You can now have your phone with you. If not, this works. It is really good if you're trying to get away from your cell phone kind of thing and you don't want to be dependent on it. get one of these. But to save money, just download the app. It's so much easier, and you save money. It does everything you do. And then you can send those reports to your doctor or your endocrinologist, whoever. So I do have this, but like 3 months ago I found out about the app. So I was like, done with this. But it's here in case I break my phone. To go to more of the costs of these things. So my Lantus, one container of Lantus is $166.92. That's without coverage. That's ridiculous. Why would they put it so much? Like, I need this to live, and they're making it increasingly hard for me to buy. It's almost if they don't want diabetics to live. I'm just saying. The next I have are the contour strips. You get 100 in here, which depends on how much you use. If you're testing behind every meal and before, that's already six strips gone one day. If you're having a hard time with your blood sugars, more. I mean, I remember when I had coverage and I could test a lot and I needed strips, I was testing maybe 10 or more times a day. That's going to go like 10 days, done. No more strips. For one box of these, it's $65.96. That's still, I mean, it's a good price for them, but if you're testing as much as I do, or I was, get the Libre. The next one are the needle tips, which there's a lot of different kinds. I just have never changed to a different one. I'm thinking these are all the same price. This is $31.03 without coverage. I don't know if that's good, but I know that they're giving needles out to people that have drug addictions for free. Not fair, but that's the way it is, and they have to be a special kind to fit my pen. Still, I wish I could get a discount. Next is my Humalog, and surprisingly, these ones are a lot cheaper than the Lantus. These are $54.65 for one without coverage. Not bad, since like this one's always on a set rate. I do 18 of this every day. This one, I could do a lot more, depending on what I want to eat, and I like to eat. So that's good that this is a little bit cheaper, but still, 54 is a lot. And then I think I already said the Libre sensor is quite a bit, but it is worth it. If you want freedom, get the Libre sensor. I know there's Dexcom, and I hear that one's great, but here in Canada, they're charging $5,000 for that thing. I don't got $5,000 to waste on something that may fall off in a day or two because I'm wondering if their glue technology is the same as Freestyle. I don't know. I don't want to find out. Alright. So instructions, I don't need them. Maybe you do. Then you have your sensor. Yes. Maybe. Yeah, this is the sensor. It's in this little container. Make sure it's sealed, otherwise it's not sanitary. You got this, which is the needle part. This eventually will plunge into you. And then they give you 2 little sterile wipes to clean your area that you're going to use. So you use your arms. I've been using, you can see the old one right there, leaves a nice glue stain. This seems to be a pretty good area, an orientation in your arm, because you don't want it to hit anything, so this is at the back. See, so right now it would be way back here. And then on this side, I don't see any marks. I've been without a sensor for probably 3 or 4 days now, just because it's hard on your skin. Like, a lot of the times when I take off my sensor, it bruises all the way around the circle, because sometimes the glue actually really holds on, at least at the end, and then it just rips and it hurts. So that's the way that is. But we're going to do this arm, because I just came off of this one. And just like in the instructions and any other video, clean the area and let it dry. And I had said, we'll wait while it's drying, that I had to think of other ways to fix the sensor being stuck on my arm when it was falling off. And by that, I cut up my husband's socks. It was the best way I could think of without having to spend any money. The neck of the sock is perfectly fit for your arm and it'll hold it on there. But of course it gets kind of hot. You could do the same with pantyhose, really anything to hold it on. And I think they are selling glue patches to put over top, but you know it's going to be expensive. So save your money. Cut up an old sock, pantyhose from the dollar store. It all works. All right. So you're supposed to make sure that these numbers match. I don't really do that, but once in a while. So that's what it looks like in there. So there is no sensor in there. This is actually the needle that goes into you. And a nice little click there, and you'll see the sensor is right there. Okay, so you match up the lines. It's in. Are we dry? We're dry. Okay. So you pull it out. You can see the needle. I'm hoping you'll be able to see it. Maybe. Kind of. It's blurry, but you know what I'm looking at. There it is. Well, it's there. So I find it better if you put your hand on your shoulder, go like this, and you can, it's kind of where I always put mine. I try to move it around because that spot always gets used, and it's going to hurt a little bit. Not much. Not bad. You get used to it after a while. See? The needle is inside. No one's going to get stabbed. All good. Sensor's on. See? And then, because I'm using my phone to record, I have to use this to turn it on. Well, it's dead. So, what happens after you insert it into your arm is you have to scan it with your phone or your machine. Oh, it did turn on, see? So scan it. Starting a new sensor will end the sensor you're, yeah. Starting a new sensor. All right, so it tells you you have to wait 60 minutes before it'll give you a reading. And that's just normal. It's the same thing every time. So when the sensor goes into your arm, it is a slight little tube that goes into your fatty tissue. No needle stays in you, no worries. It's perfectly fine. When it starts to fall off, or if it does fall off, it's not going to stab you. It's not really any sharp thing to hurt you. So don't worry. It'll be fine. Other than that, that is the installation of a freestyle sensor. That is the cost of being a diabetic in Canada. And it's staggeringly going up, unfortunately. With all the type 2 diabetes coming around, it's going to most likely get worse. But that's all we can do. Keep it up. Keep trying. Diabetes is hard. I wish I didn't have it. But it is very, very hard. So keep your spirits up. You can do it. I've been doing it for over 20 some years. Still here. And no health deformities at all. So I'm doing good. You can do it. Thanks.